How does it all look? Is my hair good? It's all
Because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family.
Well, that's just not true.
I didn't know much about him.
Well, that's just not true. I'm not sure exactly what the outcome will be, but definitely.
Prince Harry's life, already spiraling, has taken an even darker turn after Ghislaine Maxwell's shocking revelations. If you haven't heard, the notorious socialite is now spilling secrets, and one name in particular is sending shockwaves all the way to Montecito, California, Meghan Markle. Before the Duchess of Sussex took on her royal title, she was not the polished image you see now. Now, back in her Soho house days, Meghan was part of an entirely different world. Think about it, a TV actress living the high life with private men in exclusive spaces, mingling with those whose lifestyles didn't quite match her paycheck. The whispers were there, and now they're more than just rumors, they're about to break open. As Ghislaine starts talking, everything Meghan once tried to hide could come crashing down. And where's Prince Harry? Right back in the UK, rushing to the family he left behind, his return marking the beginning of a messy unraveling. Maxwell's fate was sealed the moment that verdict came down. 5 of 6 counts, and now she's sitting in a federal prison with no escape, no power, no one to shield her. For someone like Ghislaine, that's a fate worse than death. She built her empire on connections, on silence, and now that the silence is gone, she's talking. But this isn't some vague whisper about powerful men. Ghislaine is naming names, offering up the exact details, dates, locations, everything. And when someone like her starts spilling, the ripples start in private calls, urgent meetings, and lawyers being hired in secret. One of those shockwaves hit California, and the target, Meghan Markle. So let's dive into this world, Soho House. The place where the powerful and famous mix away from the cameras, but in a way you wouldn't expect. On paper, it's glamorous, but behind the scenes, it's a different story. Soho House wasn't just a creative hub, it was the bridge between old money and new ambition. A place where privacy was—
So Ghislaine is saying these things, that there are documents talking about Meghan Markle in the early years and her connection to this world with Jeffrey Epstein.
Was key, where the spotlight shy met the spotlight hungry. Meghan Markle was a regular at these events, but not as a celebrity. She wasn't the one being admired, she was what insiders called atmosphere. The one who made the room feel alive, who kept the energy high, and made the important people feel comfortable. And here's where the plot thickens. Ghislaine Maxwell is now talking about Meghan's connections to Jeffrey Epstein. It wasn't just a random Tuesday mixer, these were invitation-only events, filled with rich men who value discretion over everything. So what was a low-level TV actress doing in these spaces? The math didn't add up. First-class flights, 5-star hotels, designer clothes. How could a supporting actress on Suits afford all of this? Back then, nobody threw around accusations. They just observed. They noticed the patterns. But now, with Meghan Markle marrying into the royal family, all those observations from the past don't seem so irrelevant. Suddenly, it's all coming to light. But it didn't stop there. Meghan's name surfaced in legal proceedings that rocked the world. Not as a defendant, mind you. No, it wasn't that simple. She wasn't being accused, but her name came up because she was seen in places and with people who were tied to Epstein's world. And when federal investigators started asking questions, Meghan's name was considered. There were calls to make her a witness. Why? Because of where she was during key events, her proximity to Prince Andrew, and her connections to social circles that overlapped with Epstein. They didn't call her in the end, but the fact that her name was even mentioned tells you something. They looked into her past, into her movements, into her ties. And once something like that is on record, it doesn't just vanish. It hangs there, waiting. And now, with Maxwell talking about the very circles Meghan moved in, it's only a matter of time before those whispers turn into something more. As Prince Harry found himself in California, far from the royal family, he went on Oprah, spilling his truths to the world, tearing down his family's reputation. He went on to write a memoir, blasting the palace as toxic and suffocating. But when the pressure got too much, where did he go? Straight back to the UK, back to the family he'd publicly abandoned. Not for reconciliation, but for protection. Harry knows the royal family has resources, legal teams, media connections, infrastructure to survive even the worst scandals. And now, after everything, he's back. He needs that protection more than ever. So here's the burning question. What did Harry know about Meghan's past, and when did he know it? If he was aware of her ties, of the circles she moved in, then he helped craft a narrative that buried those details. He built a fairy tale hiding Meghan's past from the world. But if he didn't know, if he was blinded by love, then he's been living a lie. A lie that now threatens his reputation and his family. This isn't tabloid gossip anymore. This is about documented presence at key locations, about testimony under oath, about legal records that can't be erased. The fairy tale is crumbling. And if Ghislaine Maxwell continues to speak, it's not just a story for gossip columns. It's a story that will explode into courtrooms, into legal records, into undeniable truths. Prince Harry returned to Britain not because he missed home, but because the past is catching up with him, and it's about to crush everything he's built. The walls are closing in, and he's realizing that the one institution that could survive the storm is the very one he's spent years trying to destroy. The truth is unstoppable, and once it starts coming out, there's no turning back. As the truth starts to seep through the cracks, the narrative of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry begins to unravel in ways no one saw coming. The royal family, that ancient institution built on centuries of tradition and secrecy, finds itself on the edge of a full-blown scandal. Every carefully crafted lie, every PR maneuver, every truth that was sold to the public is now being scrutinized under a harsh new light. But here's the kicker, it's not just about Meghan anymore. Now, it's about the entire royal machine, about how secrets are hidden and stories are manipulated. Harry's return to the UK wasn't some sentimental journey to reconcile with family or to reflect on the past. It wasn't about finding closure. This was a desperate scramble for safety, for protection from the chaos that he helped ignite. But when you think about the royals, you think about power, right? They have the ability to control the narrative, to shape public opinion, the media at their disposal, the insiders who keep quiet, the money and influence that dictate the world. But Harry's decision to leave it all behind, to call his family toxic, was more than just an act of rebellion. It was a rejection of the very systems that kept him safe. And now, when things are spiraling, when the past is resurfacing with Ghislaine Maxwell's revelations, Harry is finding himself in a dangerous place. It's not just about Meghan anymore, it's about their future, their children, and whether or not they will ever escape the shadow of the palace. The questions now aren't just about who did what, but when and why. But Harry is left to grapple with the consequences of his actions. He can't blame the institution anymore. The walls that once shielded him have come crashing down, leaving him exposed. And now he's scrambling to put the pieces together. But here's where the story takes a darker twist. Remember those whispers about Meghan's past? The Soho house events, the private men, the connections to Epstein? Well, now those whispers have been transformed into allegations, official, legal, real. And with Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony, those whispers are about to become undeniable truths. Meghan might have thought she left that life behind when she married Harry. She might have convinced herself that the palace's PR machine would erase her past. But what happens when the past refuses to stay buried? Harry's loyalty has been called into question. Was he aware of Meghan's history? Did he know about her connections to this world of secrecy and wealth? Was he just another pawn in a larger game manipulated by the woman he loved? Or was he truly blindsided, so entranced by the fairy tale romance that he didn't ask the hard questions? Either way, he's in deep now. For someone like Harry, who's spent his life in the spotlight, whose every move has been monitored, it must be a crushing realization. The story of Meghan Markle, the woman who swept him off his feet, is now coming under intense scrutiny. And not just by the public, but by the very systems that once protected him. What does he do now? Can he salvage his reputation? Can he protect his children from the fallout of decisions made in the heat of the moment? The truth is, the monarchy is facing a reckoning, and Prince Harry is caught in the middle of it all. This isn't just about personal drama anymore. This is about the future of an institution that's been built on secrets, lies, and tradition. And as more details emerge, as more questions are asked, Harry might realize that his past decisions were more than just personal. They were a blow to the very core of the British monarchy. As the walls close in, Harry will have to answer some very tough questions, and no amount of fame or fortune can shield him from the consequences. The palace might have survived scandals in the past, but but this one is different. This time, it's personal. This time, it's about the future of the royal family and how far they're willing to go to protect their own. Will Harry stand by Meghan, or will he finally realize that the price of loyalty is too high? Will he continue to defend her past, or will he start asking the questions that should have been asked years ago? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, this is far from over. As we watch this story unfold, it's clear that the royal family's carefully curated image is on the brink of collapse. The walls are closing in, and the truth is no longer something that can be hidden. The fairy tale is over. Harry and Meghan's future, their children's future, and the monarchy itself are now at a crossroads. And the world is watching, waiting for the next shocking chapter in this unfolding drama. Unfolding drama. Unfolding drama.